Hey up everyone, MagpieNet901 here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing three things. First of all, I'm going to be giving you a little setup tour so you can see exactly where all the magic happens. Secondly, I'm going to be installing my new 1080 Ti, and thirdly, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a channel update, which will just be a quick one. It won't take long at all. So first of all, let's get into the setup tour and have a look at where I work. So this is basically where my setup is, and as you can tell, I've just pinned into the corner of a room. Ignore these shelves, they're a mess. There's all sorts of bits and bobs in them. I'm going to have to be tidying that out later today. Anyway, I am in the corner of my living room, as you can see. Plonked in this little bit underneath where the stairs come down. And yeah, it's really the only place where I can put my desk and my tower and everything. We just don't have enough room in this house, really. In our old house, we had a big extension at the back, and I had a completely self-contained little room, but we had to move house and I lost that, so I'm stuck in this little corner for now. I would love to convert the garage in this house into a separate studio, but maybe if YouTube ever takes off and I make a little bit of cash out of it, that'd be something that I'd look at, but it's just a bit of a pipe dream at the moment. Anyway, let's have a look. Here we have my dual screen setup, and I'll put an overlay on the screen of exactly what these screens are. I can't remember the model numbers of them. They're both Asus screens though. Then we've got my snowball mic, which isn't perfect. I don't think the audio is brilliant from that. I have to do a little bit of post-processing in Audacity to get it to sound a bit better. But it does the job. It does exactly what I need it to do. I'd have preferred a Yeti, but the difference in sound quality between them and the difference in price just wasn't worth it for me, so I just went with the snowball. It's on its little boom arm there, which was probably one of the cheapest ones I could find on Amazon, and that does the job. Then we've got my Strafe keyboard, RGB keyboard from Corsair. Now, I can't remember what keyboard I actually had before I had this one. I know that it's in the garage somewhere. I think it was a Roccat one, but I can't remember. I'm not 100% sure. Been through a lot of keyboards in my life, but this is by far one of the best ones. I love the RGB on it. I love the lighting on it. As you see, you get all the colours going there, so I love that bit. Then I've got my mouse, which is a Razer Mamba Tournament Edition. Brilliant mouse. Before that I had a Roccat Cone, which was a stellar mouse for me, but I do prefer this one. I found it a little bit easier to use. It's a bit better in my hand, so I'll be using that one for a while, I think. And I've got the Firefly mouse pad. Why? Because I could, and I liked it. RGB, I love RGB. Some people hate it, some people love it. I love it. I think it's good. It looks really good. I do usually have RGB lighting all around the desk, but at the moment the plug is broke, so I need to order a new one. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen pictures of the desk and it all lit up and everything. But a few weeks ago my foot was down under there, and yeah, just ignore the mess of cables. But I basically caught the plug with my foot and snapped it basically, so I'm gonna have to order a new one. That's my tower there, hidden behind the desk. Now, as I say, those of you that follow me on Instagram, you'll remember that I used to have the two screens set up, but I had one screen above the other, and where this second screen is right now, I had the tower set there. It's got the open case so that you can see inside, looks all pretty and everything, but it just took up a bit too much space. And having one screen above the other wasn't really working for me. I prefer to have one set to the side. So there was enough room just behind the desk for the tower to go in, so that's where the tower ended up going. And it's not ideal. I do like to see the tower, but also having it out the way, and at the point where I put it behind the desk, it was all cable managed, so it looked really nice, but that's all gone to shit just lately, but never mind. Anyway, to give you a quick rundown of my specs, it's a 5820K, which is clocked to 4.2 GHz. It was clocked to 4.4, but for some reason it wouldn't stay at 4.4, especially when I do the post-processing of my videos for YouTube and I use Handbrake. Handbrake ramps your CPU usage to 100%, and the overclock didn't like that, so I had to dial it back a bit to 4.2, which is fine. That's more than enough for me. I've got 16 gigs of RAM, clocked at 3000 megahertz. I've got a 980 Ti super clocked in there at the moment, but of course that baby's going to be taken out for this puppy to go in, so that'll be going on eBay later this week. What else? Various hard drives. I've got 2 SSDs in there, a 500 gig one which is the main boot drive, and then I've got one that I stripped from my old computer which is 120 gig, and at the moment that has the Quake tournament on it, and that's all that's on there. I've got a 2 gig drive, 2 terabyte drive that I use for Steam and everything else, and I apologise about the wailing. That's the washing machine, if you can hear that. There's not a lot I can do about that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for specs. I think it's either 750 or 850 watt Corsair power supply, and that's more or less about it. There isn't a great deal much else to go into, really. I mean, I've got my PS4 set up there, got my Xbox One, I've got my Raw 2 Bluetooth speaker. Prefer to do everything through my headset, which is Corsair Void RGB, but when I prefer to have a little bit of open sound, I'll use the Raw, which is a very capable speaker. You get some good bass out of it for such a small little unit, but it's not that often that I use it, because obviously being in the living room, it's hard to have like booming out sound, especially when my girlfriend's sat over there watching TV, or I've got the kids watching TV. So, and oh yeah, Sky Sports News, because when you're in the house on your own, that's what us men do. We put Sky Sports News on, because I very rarely get to watch it. So I've banged it on today, but I'm not really taking that much notice of it because I'm a bit busy with other things. But yeah, so yeah, this is pretty much my setup. My desk, there's not a lot to say about that. I got it from Office World. It was about £160, and I've had it for, wow, I think I've had it for about 8 years. So yeah, but it's a solid desk. It's done me proud. I can't move it too much now because it's been taken apart and put together that much that a couple of the screws just don't thread no more. But yeah, never mind. It does what it needs to do, and it's solid, so that's good enough for me. And that is pretty much it for my setup tour. To be fair, there's not a great deal else to show you. I've got a printer, and there's a 20-foot Ethernet cable there. I've got wireless dongle on the PC at the moment, which is sufficient, but I don't get the full speed of my internet. I've got fibre optic. I get 250 meg down and 30 meg up. Through the dongle I don't get nowhere near that, so when I want to juice things up, I will run my Ethernet cable from the back of the PC there and run it over to the router, which is at the side of the TV. My router is I can't remember. It's a TP-Link Touch router, I think. It's got a little screen on it so you can change settings on the fly on it without having to log in through a PC or anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not a great deal else to go into on my setup, but this is where I sit when I do my videos and when I play my games and all that other good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to get into doing the installation of my 1080 Ti now. So I'm going to take some pictures, maybe do a little bit more video as I go through the process, and I will be straight back to you. the installation complete, that all went straight forward pretty good. Give it a good clean out as well. There was a bit of dust on the panels and that, but yeah, card went in straightforward, no problems at all. So I did some benchmarking with the 980 Ti before I took it out. I did the Heaven Unity engine thing, whatever it is, and I did the 3D Mark 1. Now for the 3D Mark 1 I've only got access to the basic edition, so I just did the Time Spy benchmark on that one. So we'll have a look at those results first. So the 980 Ti scored 5621, which put it better than 62% of all results. And taking nothing away from the 980 Ti, it's still a monster of a card. It's still very, very capable. But one of the reasons that I've updated is because it is starting to show its age. I primarily game at 1440p, and I'm starting to struggle with some titles now at that resolution using high to ultra graphic settings. So the 1080 Ti for me is more of a system future-proofing card. You know, that card will last me a good few years now. I've had this 980 for almost 2 years, served me very well. At the time when I got the rig, I would have gone for a Titan X, but I just couldn't justify the cost back then. So the 1080 for me is to future-proof my system and keep it all nice and tight, and you know, it'll last me a while. But on the same test with the 1080 Ti, it scored 8,815, and that gave me a result that was 92% better than all the others. So I'm very, very happy with that. Shows that it's basically kicking ass, and yeah, it'll do me for quite a while. Now I didn't go for the overclocked version of this card. There's two different versions of this Strix card. There's a standard card and an overclocked one. Didn't go for the overclocked one because I didn't really see the point. Gaming at 1440p, I'm not going to see the benefits of that overclock on this card. Plus, if I wanted to, I suppose I could overclock this card anyway. I suppose there's a little bit of headroom there to do that. So I just didn't see the point in paying out the little bit extra for the overclocked one compared to the standard one, when they're basically the same card. For me anyway, with my setup, I'll see no difference in using the overclocked one to the standard one. So the next benchmark that I did was the Heaven benchmark 4.0. I did this at just the standard settings that the program comes with. I didn't change anything, didn't touch those. I just run the benchmark straight off. So for the 980, as you can see on the screen, I got an overall 105.6 FPS. Minimum of 9.1, maximum of 217.4. Again, very respectable results, very happy with those. But then you move over to the 1080 Ti, and I got an average of 162.1, a minimum of 25.7, and a maximum of 309.5. So yeah, very, very happy with that result. So yeah, that was the installation of the 1080 Ti. Very, very happy with this card. Highly recommend it if you can afford one. They are expensive, but as I say, for a way of future-proofing a system, they are absolutely ideal. And now we come to the third and final part of this video, and this is just to give everybody a quick channel update, let you know where I'm going with the channel, what I'm doing with it, and where I'm going to be going. So as I've said in previous videos when I've done a channel update, I think the last one was around Christmas time, struggled a little bit with the channel and exactly what direction to take it, what to do with it. I'd like to do primarily gameplay videos, but as you've seen from my setup tour, I'm not in an ideal place to do that. It's a very busy household here. I don't get a lot of spare time with work and family time to do that kind of video. So those kind of videos are going to be few and far between. I think they're just going to be the odd one now and again. I'm going to try and do as many of them as I can, but you know, it's just a do them as I can sort of thing. I can't stick to any kind of schedule with doing those. But I decided to change up how I did the channel. I decided to pick some games and follow those games, and by following, I mean I would follow them through from development, betas, into release and beyond, and just bring the general news for these games to you so that, you know, it's put from the layman's person's perspective on these games. You know, I'm by no means an expert. I know a little bit, but I don't know a lot. I probably know about as much as like the general public do when it comes to gaming. So yeah, I just thought I'd do those videos, let you know what the updates were, what's coming to games, what's going to be included, you know, news articles about these games, and it's just to keep you informed on as I say on the title of the channel, it's the latest information on the most relevant games. So the games that I'm currently following are Battlefield 1. I'm going to be following the next Battlefield, which was announced a few days ago. That's out in October next year. Obviously Call of Duty World War II, I'm following that at the moment. 7 Days to Die, I haven't done a great deal on that recently. I've done a few gameplay videos of that, but I haven't touched it for a few months now. But of course when updates come out for that, because there's going to be, I think there's going to be a new alpha update for that, I'll obviously be looking at that. Days Gone, which is on the PS4, quite interested with that game, so I've started following that one. Not a great deal of news about that right now, but we'll get more as it goes along. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, loving that game at the moment. It's a really, really good game and I'm following that one closely. Weekly updates for that game, still in early access, so there's a lot of things to be changed on that, a lot of updates to come. So I've got a very, very vested interest in that one because I love playing it myself. Destiny 2, following that one very closely. Enjoyed the first game. Looking forward to this second one, looking forward to getting some gameplay of that one from the E3 event that's next month. Then we've got Red Dead Redemption 2, looking forward to that one. Loved the first game, so I'm going to follow this second one. Forza Horizon 3, played the arse out of that when it came out, love it to bits. Haven't done a great deal on it recently, Battlegrounds and Battlefield 1 has kind of pushed it to a side. But yeah, it's recently been updated and it's looking a lot better than it did before, so still following that one. Prey, which we've just had come out, enjoying that game immensely. I've got about 15 hours worth of gameplay into that one at the moment. Loving that one, so I'll be looking to see where that goes from here. Horizon Zero Dawn, haven't been able to play as much of it as I want to, but I do love it. It's a brilliant game, so I am following that one. There's been some big updates for that game recently and it's looking really good right now. Titanic Honor and Glory, which is a bit of an odd one. It reminds you of a kind of point and click game, but I like the idea of them digitising the whole of the Titanic into a game in Unreal Engine 4. So I'm following that one kind of loosely at the moment, but when there's updates I'll bring you them. And then Escape from Tarkov, now I don't own this game and I have no plans to own it at the moment. I don't like the way they have their early access set up. It's very expensive to get into it. There's no guarantees you will get into it because it's kind of they just pick people at random to go into it. So maybe once that goes into an open beta, which there are rumours that there could be one this year, I might look at getting into that and getting some gameplay of it done. I love the look of the game. It looks really, really good. But, you know, I'm just not willing to invest in it right now. But I will be following it as and when I can. And those right now are all of the games that I'm following. As I say, when these games are released, like Prey's just been released recently and I've managed to get a few gameplay videos out for that, update videos as well, I'll just be following them. So if any of those games interest you, please don't forget to subscribe and then you will get the latest news on them as and when I get it. As I say, gameplay videos, I don't get time to do them, but the news ones, I can rattle them out all day long. They're very, very easy to do. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed making it. It's been a good one, a bit of a vloggy kind of video, which I've never done before. I don't suppose I'll do too many of them because of the way the channel's set up. There's not really much call for me to do it, but maybe the next time I install a new graphics card, which might be a while considering the price. But yeah, I'll do a video next time. So all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.